Well, according to the calendar, it's still summer, but we have changed seasons here in the garden. And the best evidence of that is what's surrounding me right now. So let me get up and show you where I'm sitting. You may have heard of the horn o'plenty. Well, this is the throne o'plenty. And as you can see, it's fall harvest stuff that we got going on here. Got pumpkins, and those blue things are blue ballet squash, Waltham butternut squash, and a few little acorn squash too. And of course the corn stalks are all cut and bundled because the corn's all done for this year. And we are into fall, about halfway through September. And Jessie is busy as usual, checking out some great tasting mud. Right, Jess? Uh-huh. All right, so let's head down here to bed one in the beginning of the garden. Now, it may look a little messy, but those are chives that are still going on and doing fine. They just get a little ignored this time of year. And this is sort of no man's land where I sort of toss everything, and these are literally throwaway tomato plants. And so when you throw away tomato plants, they're doing that way well on the ground, you know you're having a pretty good gardening year, so that's not too bad. And Molly's perusing all this area, and you can see we got a pumpkin hiding out here. And so even in our throwaway areas, we got stuff happening. Meanwhile, back behind here is bed one where the corn used to be. It's all gone now. And next in line is lima beans. Now there's a pod of lima beans that I've let get a little too long. When they go that long, then they turn into dried lima beans, and they look like that. Still harvestable, but I like to harvest them while they're still tender and young. So kind of missed the boat on that one. But there's more in there. I think the lima beans have been a little slow this year because they were shaded by the corn so much. Meanwhile, Vortex green string beans, I guess is what I was trying to say, who knows. As you can see, there's plenty of those. They've been coming in steadily all season, and they're doing quite well. And these red noodle yardlongs have been the ones that I just can't even keep up with them. They come so fast. They've just been doing fantastic this year. We've got oodles and gobs of them in the freezer and the refrigerator, and they're still coming strong. This is sweet potatoes, and it's grown over like it should be grown over. Don't know if we've got any sweet potatoes under here starting to show yet. But Molly's going to check for me and see if maybe she finds some. But I know we got some in the other area, so I'll show you those a little bit later. Meanwhile, Brussels sprouts, we have harvested a bunch of Brussels sprouts. There's a bunch more coming in on these plants. I'm not particularly fond of these Brussels sprouts because they're not tight. They're just sort of loose heads. They come in early, but they taste okay. I just don't really like the texture so much. And these are broccoli, rolled broccoli, which are actually starting to head, if you can see down there. And cabbage. This is that cone-shaped cabbage, also starting to head up nicely, so that's pretty good for a fall crop. And what else we got going on here? Leeks. Leeks are still okay. I still need to get around to my potato leek soup I've been talking about for several months, but I am going to get to it. Oh, and here's one of the several volunteer sunflowers that come up. And by volunteer, I just mean that I didn't plant them; they just came up, and they look nice, scattered about the garden. And this is a row of carrots and beets. And then in the fall garden, it's always nice to have a brand new planting coming in. And there you can see we've got a row of lettuce, another row of lettuce, and some fall radishes coming in. So it's always nice to have some new stuff coming in when the garden is actually winding down. Marigolds went crazy this year in the garden. Lots of fun having them around. And And then last time I showed you out here in the what was the onion and potato bed, I planted some extra brassicas and some spinach. Look at the head on this guy. These guys have grown much faster than the ones in the other bed. I already pulled one head of broccoli that was about that big and took him inside. And these cabbages are just, oh, they're huge. They're 2.5 feet wide there and looking very nice. Spinach, I'm having the same problem I always have with spinach, which is they start to do well and then something gets to the roots and they just sort of shrivel away, and I haven't figured out what's going on yet. So meanwhile, where the potatoes used to be, I got a nice couple of plantings of peas coming up, so they're off to a good start. Hopefully we'll get some fall peas out of that. And finally, at the end of this bed, I just threw in some extra beets, and they should do pretty well in this bed, because this bed is for potatoes, which are, you know, it's very loose soil, very good for root crops. Now here's the other bed of sweet potatoes, and I'm getting rodent damage. You can see there where that one's been hit, and you can see a nice sweet potato coming in there, but and you can see from the wire that I'm doing everything that's humanly possible to keep these rodents out of here. I just don't have the solution yet. Hopefully I'll get some good sweet potatoes out of this harvest, because you can see there's a nice cluster of sweet potatoes right there. But it's kind of a race against time, me against the mice. Who gets the most sweet potatoes? Meanwhile, the okra pretty much done for, although there's still a couple on here showing themselves.